Good evening, I'm Adrienne Arsenault.
And I'm Andrew Chang. Tonight, exclusive new video inside the world of an accused sex trafficker.
My job was to film literally everything.
Canadian fashion mogul Peter Nygard's former personal videographer tells his story. The Fifth Estate's investigation.
Also tonight, new developments in another CBC News investigation. We have the details of the report that led to the resignation of Julie Payette.
Plus, how one internet community is moving the markets.
And
So have you been having any COVID dreams?
Yes. Are you?
reflections on a reality that is stranger than fiction with Margaret Atwood. This is The National.
Well, tonight we begin with new developments in two CBC News investigations.
Ashley Burke continues her work on the Governor General file and tonight has the details of the report that led to Julie Payette's resignation. We will bring you that story in a moment.
But we begin with a CBC News exclusive about former fashion mogul and accused sexual predator Peter Nygard. Now, Nygard will appear in a Winnipeg courtroom tomorrow, seeking bail ahead of an extradition hearing to the United States for allegations of sex trafficking involving dozens of women and girls, which he denies. Tonight, our colleagues at the Fifth Estate take us inside his world.
For the first time, we will hear from a key member of Nygard's inner circle who shares never-before-seen video footage showing how Nygard treated women and girls over the years. The Fifth Estate's Bob McEwen continues to drive this story.
What is seven? What has she got?
They say Peter Nygard never met a camera he didn't like. It's why he hired personal videographer Stephen Ferraglio.
Nygard told me that the reason why Jesus is so popular is because he had a good PR team. My job was to film literally everything.
Start spreading your legs.
For 3 years, Ferraglio documented all of Nygard's world, from his lavish Boeing jetliner.
Nygard had a bed on the plane and he would have sex with the girls up in the front of the plane.
To his ever-present female entourage.
They were around when Nygard needed sex, and they would accompany Nygard to dinner. They would be paraded in during the meetings. Nygard would call them the girlfriends.
Now that Nygard faces criminal indictments in the U.S., alleging sexual offenses against dozens of women, Stephen Ferraglio is speaking out.
I think that when people think that they are above the law, the best way to show them that they are not is to literally show them.
And he's got hundreds of hours of video with which to do that.
She's the girl who's underage.
According to the charges, which he denies, Nygard frequently targeted girls as young as 14 or 15.
But just to be here, Olympics, and to be running, good for you.
Here, Ferraglio captured the 70-something Nygard trying to get a phone number from a young Olympic athlete.
He finds out during this conversation that she is 16 years old.
Cell number or something, yeah. 2 phone numbers. I don't want to lose her now that I found her.
Nobody else in my world of Nygard has this evidence. If I don't expose him, he's going to get away with all the things that he's been doing.
For years, Peter Nygard fought in court to keep this video private. Now, Stephen Ferraglio is making it public, starting with the Fifth Estate.
So Peter Nygard was arrested 6 weeks ago, has been in custody ever since. His bail hearing resumes tomorrow morning in Winnipeg. So Bob, what can we expect?
Well, Nygard's lawyers have been arguing that if the 79-year-old doesn't get out of jail soon, he's at risk of contracting COVID-19. Last week, those lawyers presented their bail plan, but a judge sent them back to the drawing board. She questioned the credibility of one of the men who promised to monitor Nygard while he was out on bail.
And so what happens after that?
Well, bail or no bail, Adrienne, the hard part is just beginning for Peter Nygard, that's clear. He's facing a fight against extradition to the U.S., which could take between 2 and 10 years. And then a criminal trial in the U.S. for sexual offenses against dozens of women and girls. Consider the Harvey Weinstein case. The movie producer was sentenced to 23 years for 1 rape and 1 sexual assault, which must be a sobering thought for Peter Nygard.
All right, Bob McEwen, thank you for this. You can watch Bob's and his team's full investigation tomorrow night on the Fifth Estate. Peter Nygard, The Secret Videos, airs tomorrow at 9 p.m. on CBC Television.
Well, it's been less than a week since Julie Payette resigned as Governor General in the wake of a scathing report into a toxic workplace environment. Ashley Burke's reporting led to the review. And Ashley, you've got details for us tonight from Ottawa. What more are you learning from this report?
Well, Andrew, we have been bringing you the details of these claims based on information from our confidential sources. But tonight, it is laid out in black and white, written by an independent firm for everyone to read. Now, some of this information, this critical information, is heavily redacted to protect the complainants' identities.
This has gone from being one of the most collegial and enjoyable work environments for many of the staff to being a house of horrors.
They made the allegations in confidence to CBC News, then repeated them in person to investigators, who have now laid out their findings. Quintet concludes that there is a serious problem that requires PCO's immediate attention. 92 people participated and overwhelmingly raised concerns. 43 called it a hostile or negative work environment. 26 said it was toxic or poisoned. Others described it as an atmosphere of humiliation, disrespect, condescension, a non-inclusive workplace, the definition of a poisoned work environment. Employees are stressed out and worn out, validating what the government said was coming.
This report had some disturbing conclusions, and those conversations led the Governor General to conclude that she should offer her resignation.
Allegations of yelling, screaming, aggressive conduct, demeaning comments, and public humiliation. 20 people said they witnessed harassment, and it took its toll. 17 people said they left Rideau Hall because of the workplace environment. 13 said they took sick leave for the same reason. Despite all of this, no formal complaints. There was so much fear and such little trust, employees doubted anything would happen.
The culture was so suppressed there that any complaint would be surmised to have been met by further retaliatory tactics by the Office of the Secretary of the Governor General, that being the Chief of Staff, and those involved in the human resources and labor relations environment.
Okay, so Ashley, what else does the report confirm about your reporting?
Well, the report spells out the broad problems, but it doesn't go into the specific details, the incidents. And what our sources say is that behind some of that redacted material is what we reported last night, that some of these cases involving the former Governor General Julie Payette extended from the verbal to the physical, and in some cases, people felt threatened. Now, this independent firm was not tasked with investigating each and every claim to find out if it was founded, but they did conclude that there was a toxic work environment that existed for years, and that it will take years to repair the damage.
Okay, Ashley Burke continuing to work this story for us tonight. Thanks.
Thank you.
Turning to the fight against COVID in this country, some room for cautious optimism as cases continue to creep downwards. Overall, Canada is reporting 4,205 new cases today, but it's the downward slope of the 7-day average that's the cause for some hope. Right now, it's about 5,300 cases a day, the lowest it's been since late November. Despite that trend, health officials are increasingly worried about more infectious variants of the virus and how they could change everything. Magda Gebrselassie has more on the fight to contain them, including what's been learned from the UK experience.
This was the last time Pat Ferguson saw her mother in person. The 83-year-old tested positive for COVID-19 2 weeks ago. On Friday, Ferguson made one last phone call to say
that her children love her, her grandchildren love her, that she's been a good mom, the things that you want her to take with her when she's gone.
24 hours later, her mother died. She lived at Roberta Place Long-Term Care Home. The facility north of Toronto is the site of nearly 100 presumptive cases of the B117 variant first found in the UK. New variants have popped up in 4 provinces. BC and Alberta are also dealing with another variant first found in South Africa.
We do not want to be in a position where we are adding to what is already an established number of these variants of concern.
Calls for more controls at the border are getting louder, but it's clear the variants are here. So some are calling for changing measures inside Canada to restrict spread. In Ontario, some experts say it's time for travel restrictions between regions within the province.
I think that's certainly something worth considering, and again, it will all depend on what we discover through the studies. If there is active community spread,
Public Health Ontario is working on figuring that out. The variant from the UK itself is more transmissible and may be more deadly. This virologist from the UK has advice for Canadians.
And it's no different from what we've been doing before, but with the new variant that may be more transmissible, being shed at a higher viral load, you want to try and do all of that.
But even better than before, he says, and that may include multi-masking.
A surgical mask on top of your N95 mask.
The vaccine will help too, but we're still months away from most of us getting the shot. Magda Gebrselassie, CBC News, Toronto.
Well, a Canada Post worker in his 60s has died after testing positive for COVID during an outbreak at a Mississauga mail facility. At least 224 Canada Post workers at the Gateway facility have tested positive since the outbreak began, and hundreds more were sent home to self-isolate last week. This worker sought testing on his own earlier this month. Well, pressure is growing on the federal government to solve vaccine shortages. Ottawa says things are on track, but worried provinces responsible for delivering those shots are considering backup plans. Alison Northcott tracks that story for us tonight.
Halfway through a week with no new Pfizer deliveries, provinces are trying to adjust.
You just need more vaccine. That's right. And more small needles so we can squeeze out every last dose.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're working on it.
Pfizer itself is looking for ways to stretch supply, asking Health Canada to allow people giving the vaccine to extract more doses from each vial using a special kind of syringe. It's all because deliveries from Pfizer have been delayed thanks to a temporary slowdown at the company's Belgium plant to scale up capacity.
We believe that next week we will get about 20% of what we were expecting. That is about 26,000 doses, way down, obviously, from what we were expecting.
Ottawa is now trying to mitigate fears the EU could impose export controls to ensure its own supply.
The Prime Minister was assured by the President of the European Commission that Canada's shipments were not in jeopardy.
Planning for supply uncertainty would be very prudent at this time.
Still, some say Canada should prepare for this kind of disruption.
I think us and the public sometimes forget and be like, well, how come we're not getting vaccinated? This is a complex problem that needs a lot of thought and modeling, and there is a lot of uncertainty.
Manitoba presented its vaccine plan today with high and low supply scenarios.
I know everyone obviously is anxious to know where they fall on the priority list. Much depends, of course, on the vaccine supply from the federal government.
Some provinces are extending the time between the two doses, but there are questions about how long they can wait.
There's some data to show that up to 42 days is a reasonable delay. Immune responses don't disappear overnight. The worry is that if instead of 40, 45 days, if it becomes 120 days, or if it becomes 4 or 5 months.
Despite the delays, the federal government says it still plans to vaccinate every Canadian who wants to be by the end of September. Alison Northcott, CBC News, Montreal.
One last pandemic note. Montreal-based Air Transat is canceling all flights out of Toronto. Bookings are way down thanks to travel restrictions. The suspension is set to begin tomorrow and is expected to last at least until the end of April, with most of the company's flights continuing to operate out of Montreal. Hassan Diab, the Canadian lecturer who had been freed in a terror case in France, has been ordered to stand trial. This is in connection to a bombing outside a Paris synagogue in 1980. 4 people died, more than 40 others injured. Diab was arrested in Canada in 2008 and extradited to France, but he was released in 2018. David Cochran looks at why his lawyers say the case is being revived.
It's been 40 years since the bomb exploded, 12 years since Hassan Diab was arrested, 3 years since he was released due to lack of evidence, just hours since it started all over again.
The decision of the French Court of Appeal today is the continuation of a long odyssey of injustice.
Canada extradited Diab on the strength of handwriting evidence that linked Diab's writing to a hotel registration card signed by the bomber. But that evidence has been repeatedly discredited, first by defense experts, then by French investigative judges who set Diab free, most recently by an analysis done for France's Court of Appeal.
The prosecution of a demonstrably innocent man damages the credibility of France's justice system.
Also, none of the fingerprints collected match Diab's, and Diab has an alibi. Witnesses and university records show Diab was writing exams in Beirut when the bomb went off in Paris.
We are obviously extremely disappointed that law and the content of the case was not apparently the only thing that guided overturning the decision.
Those other things, his lawyers say, pressure from the victims of the Rue Copernic blast, and that it's France's longest unsolved terrorism case.
We had anticipated on the fact that it is extremely hard to let go of the only suspect that the victims and the public have.
Diab isn't speaking today, but has said the toll has been enormous.
My physical and mental health deteriorated, and most importantly, I missed the birth of my son and more than 3 years of my children's lives.
Diab's lawyers have appealed this to the French Supreme Court. They don't believe he's at risk of being extradited again unless the Supreme Court rules against them. David Cochran, CBC News, Ottawa.
Well, if you use TD Bank, take note. Customers across the country have reported charges from DoorDash coming out of their accounts despite never having used that service. Here's Diane Buckner now on how to avoid becoming a victim.
Check your bank statements. The latest fraud is a charge from DoorDash on your debit card.
A warning from a neighbor on Facebook alerted Lynn Wallace to a fraud.
So what did you do after you saw that post? Called the bank immediately. And I was a victim.
Wallace, who's on a disability pension, saw a $66 charge that appeared to be from DoorDash.
Restaurants come to you.
A food delivery app that doesn't even operate in her town.
Makes me angry.
I just want my money back.
The same thing happened to Karen Lee in BC. She went into the bank after losing $157.
I was in the lineup. I turned around to the guy behind me and I said, check your accounts daily because I've been hacked by DoorDash. And he said, well, that's what I'm here for. And then the lady behind him said the same thing.
Complaints on social media show the fraud has occurred in virtually every province. In a statement to CBC News, TD says a small percentage of its customers were affected for an isolated period. DoorDash says it's working with TD to reimburse victims. Neither company explained how the fraud occurred. It's a reminder that debit cards have changed.
There's no real such thing as debit cards anymore.
This cybersecurity expert says many Canadians are unaware. Banks linked most personal bank accounts to MasterCard and Visa-branded debit cards years ago to enable online purchases.
It's not your bank account that's getting hacked. It's your debit Visa card that's being compromised.
But still, that means the money comes straight out of your bank account. Many victims of the fraud say they were frustrated by how long they had to wait to get a refund, often more than a month.
They say there's a backlog and, call us in another 2 weeks.
It happens.
Lynn Wallace got her money back, but is left feeling vulnerable.
I don't want it to happen again. They should be protecting my money.
Consumers can contact their financial institution to put a zero limit on their bank cards for online transactions. And experts say these days that may be wise. Diane Buckner, CBC News, Toronto.
One of television's most enduring stars, Cloris Leachman, has died.
That's why she's here, Rhoda, to start a new life for herself. That's why she needs this apartment.
She won 2 of her many Emmys for her role on The Mary Tyler Moore Show and another 2 several decades later for Malcolm in the Middle. She also appeared on the big screen in classics like Young Frankenstein and The Last Picture Show, for which she won an Oscar. Cloris Leachman was 94.
Well, this week, the American chain GameStop took center stage when their stock started to climb dramatically. Coming up, how social media users are moving the markets.
We think we discover value by ourselves and for ourselves for the first time.
Plus, Margaret Atwood on COVID, vaccines, and the deadly Capitol Hill riots.
Are we seeing the end of a great world power? Let us hope not.
And a Montreal musician makes the internet sing.
How funny would it be to take an argument on the internet and then craft a beautiful song around it?
We're back in 2.
Careful who your friends are.
p.m.
Soldiers and protesters clashed for a third straight night in Tripoli as hundreds continue to demonstrate against worsening economic conditions amidst Lebanon's nationwide lockdown. There are reports today of security forces opening fire in the increasingly violent clashes. And protesters were met with brutality in Russia over the weekend as an estimated 100,000 people took to the streets outraged over the arrest of opposition leader Alexei Navalny. And the country is bracing for more protests this weekend. This points to a shifting dynamic in Russia and a problem for President Vladimir Putin. But as Chris Brown reports from Moscow, despite the deteriorating situation at home, Putin made an unusual appearance on the world stage today.
Alexei Navalny may be in jail, but Russian police intensified the harassment of his family and associates. They smashed into his broadcast studios and searched where his wife Yulia is staying. That's her yelling down to the media, but the police wouldn't let her lawyer be there. The tiniest public hint of support for Navalny now seems fair game for prosecution. Even the woman who made this anti-Putin snowman protest was reportedly arrested. At the same time, President Vladimir Putin is suddenly out in public everywhere, opening new intersections and making an unexpected virtual appearance at the World Economic Forum, his first in 11 years. He warned that the world must avoid the dark dystopia of radicalism and that Russia wants to be part of global solutions. Putin's appearances may have been intended to emphasize it's business as usual for him, despite the earth-shaking events involving Navalny's return and his arrest after an assassination attempt. More than 100,000 people took to the streets across Russia this past weekend. Some told us they came out not because they love Navalny, but because there's no rule of law in the country anymore.
Many people doesn't love Navalny himself, but this is total chaos.
Navalny's investigation, Putin's palace, has also hit a nerve, with 100 million YouTube views and counting. Kremlin officials have spent days denying the opulent mansion, guarded by the secret police and reportedly built for $1.35 billion, belongs to the president. Even as the pressure increases, Navalny's team is getting bolder, calling for a protest Sunday here at the FSB, or secret police building, whose agents, Navalny says, tried to kill him. Chris Brown, CBC News, Moscow.
Well, today is Holocaust Remembrance Day, normally a time when people gather to honor victims. But this year, things are different in a couple of ways. This is one of them. Hundreds of survivors received their COVID vaccines in Slovakia, Austria, and Greece today. Meanwhile, commemoration ceremonies were held mostly online. January 27th marks the day Soviet troops liberated the Auschwitz death camp.
When we come back, 2 Canadian cities are vying to decriminalize simple possession of illicit drugs.
How do we get you off the streets? How do I get you reconnected to a mental health professional?
Why some police and advocates say harsh penalties are not the answer.
Welcome back. It's an idea gaining traction in two major Canadian cities. Last night, Montreal City Council voted to ask Ottawa to decriminalize simple possession of small quantities of illicit drugs. Today, the City of Vancouver says Health Canada has agreed to formally discuss their plan to do the same. It's something advocates have long been calling for. Here's Briar Stewart on the change that could bring.
It's grown since the last time we were back here.
Along this makeshift pathway, strewn with garbage, are some of Abbotsford's most vulnerable, many addicted to drugs, living in the shadow of a highway overpass.
Just because I love you. Thank you. You're welcome. I'm glad you're doing okay.
Kim Friesen is the coordinator of Project Angel, a peer-driven outreach team that works to support those who are homeless or consumed by addiction.
The systems are very hard to navigate when you're street entrenched, when you're struggling with mental health.
And part of what makes this program unique is its connection to the local police.
Are you looking to get into detox?
Sergeant Kevin Murray is not too interested in the drug paraphernalia that lies on the ground, or too bothered when someone prepares to smoke crack cocaine in front of him.
Are you on the list?
Bro, they don't give a man. Pass me the pipe that you got handed to you.
5 years ago, he says, it would basically be unheard of for an officer to respond this way.
You smoked right in front of me, man. That's the natural progression of what's happening here.
He says there's been a shift in policing.
I have bigger fish to fry and bigger worries than whether or not they're using some heroin. It's more like, how do we get you off the streets? How do I get you reconnected to a mental health professional?
Shane, are you back here?
Near the back of the encampment, we're introduced to Shane Patmore.
We've got harm reduction, we've got Narcan, we've got juice, we've got chocolate.
He built this shed on top of a swamp where he stays with his girlfriend, Kelsey Martin.
That's some of the heroin that's on.
That's not much at all.
That's like a half a point.
Yeah, it's like $10 worth.
$10,
Yeah, I have a pretty hefty habit, so I can do probably this 10 times a day.
Because they know the outreach team, they aren't afraid to show us the drugs, even though they both say they've spent time in jail before. What they're most fearful of is an overdose.
Most people that are dying from this stuff are dying alone, right? You know what I mean? And that's because they are hiding from it, right? Or they don't want to get caught by the police with it or something, because then it's a whole new ball game for them, right? You know what I mean?
In the past year, Canada's opioid crisis has become even deadlier, striking all communities and demographics. And there's been a growing call for a drastic change, decriminalization, which means those who are found with small amounts of drugs would no longer face criminal charges.
So I've made it clear to the Prime Minister where British Columbia stands.
BC has called for it, and so has Vancouver City Council. Even the Canadian Association of the Chiefs of Police is pushing to decriminalize simple possession. In recent years, the number of people being charged has declined. Still in 2019, more than 18,000 Canadians were charged with possession.
I've heard so many people, politicians, medical practitioners, say that this is a health issue. I don't know any other health issue where people actually get punished and go to jail because of it. Safety first. Go Gia!
It might not look like it as you watch Guy Felicella play with his young family, but when he speaks about the stigma around drug use, he's speaking from experience. A lot of it.
How many times have you had to say goodbye to people this year because of overdoses?
This year's, honestly, I can't even count. It breaks my heart because I'd been there for so long, and I just know the struggle and the pain with that.
He first started using as a teenager and spent more than 20 years roaming a 2-block radius on Vancouver's downtown east side, going in and out of jail.
We don't want people fixing in the laneways, okay? Okay. Because it makes us look bad, makes like we're not doing our job.
Back then, policing might have looked different, but many of the problems were the same. Felicella overdosed 6 times before finally going for treatment in 2013.
Hey, what's your future looking like, buddy? Pretty good, eh?
Today, he's an advisor with the BC Centre for Substance Use and a vocal advocate for decriminalization.
I know the difference it would have made in my life would have been astronomical. It would definitely make one feel supported and definitely give them the ability to reach out much sooner.
And that's also why Amelia Fowler pushed so hard for it in Oregon.
This was as I was deploying to Afghanistan in 2014.
Her father died of a fentanyl overdose 2 years ago.
61, really young. Putting people in jail ruins families when treatment can help families.
Fowler was one of the community organizers pushing for Measure 110.
Oregon became the first state in the country to decriminalize.
It was passed last November and comes into effect February 1st. The change means that anyone caught with a small amount of drugs in Oregon, including heroin, methamphetamine, and ecstasy, won't face a criminal penalty. Instead of going to jail, they'll be fined $100, and that can be waived if they agree to go through a health assessment.
I absolutely believe that he would still be here today had certain resources been made available to him.
Oregon has one of the highest rates of substance use in the U.S., and it's among the lowest spenders on treatment. Part of the new law requires the government to direct more funds towards recovery services.
What we're doing right now isn't working. I have seen firsthand how having a criminal record can impact you in every single way.
In Canada, the federal government says it's reviewing the request to end criminal penalties.
We know that there is no one solution to stopping the opioid epidemic.
The Prime Minister has described decriminalization as not a silver bullet, but Benjamin Perrin believes it's cruel not to move on it while people are still dying.
The current law is indefensible, right? Show me the peer-reviewed evidence that criminalizing people who use drugs work.
Perrin has done extensive research on the opioid crisis, but before that, he worked for a year as legal counsel for Stephen Harper. He says it became clear to him arresting people for addiction is senseless.
The buck stops with the Prime Minister. The reason that he's afraid of decriminalizing drugs, which we know is the right thing to do and the evidence points towards, is because the federal Conservatives have in the past demonized people who use drugs. I'm just here to say that's wrong. Like, that cannot continue.
But even without action from the federal government, change is already happening. The Public Prosecution Service told federal lawyers to avoid prosecuting simple drug possession unless there are major safety concerns.
So we just want to check in and see how you guys are doing, if you needed anything.
BC has directed all of its police to consider a harm reduction approach instead of criminal penalties. In Abbotsford, Sergeant Murray says they're already doing that and doesn't feel it sends any kind of harmful message about drug use.
And I'm not sure that decriminalizing simple possession has the effect of condoning drug use. I'm still not a fan every time I come across somebody who's smoking heroin in front of me. That just signals to me that there are more complex issues at play. We can get this all done.
On this morning, the team discovered the couple in this tent had lost some ID, which is making it difficult to get social assistance.
We gotta make it work, sister.
Yep, we do.
Right? Gotta get that check in.
An example, Murray says, of what the priority is now. Instead of only enforcing the law, they're trying to connect people with the help they need. Briar Stewart, CBC News, Abbotsford, BC.
Up next, my conversation with Margaret Atwood.
I think I was chewing off my fingernails like other people.
Her fears and her COVID dreams. Stay with us. Welcome back. For more than 40 years, Margaret Atwood has been part of the Writers' Trust, a nonprofit that provides financial support to Canadian writers. Well, today, the organization announced it is renaming an award in honor of her and her late husband, the writer Graham Gibson. And so that makes today a pretty good time to catch up with Margaret Atwood. We sat down virtually, as you do these days, to talk the pandemic, politics, what she saw coming, and what she didn't.
Thank you very much. I feel so strange not being able to make eye contact with you. To look into your eyes, I have to appear to be looking away from you.
Such is life. Yes, we're kind of used to it now. And next step will be robots anyway, so won't matter.
How are you managing?
I'm probably finding it less hard than someone who is used to being with a lot of people every day. I'm not deprived of human company. I'm not living in a one-room condo and going absolutely batshit crazy.
You know, I've heard you talk about the privilege of, you know, you don't have to go work in a poultry plant. You don't have to ride the subway.
Absolutely not.
Hospital.
Yeah, the frontline healthcare workers and they really should get vaccinated pronto. Certainly ahead of people like me, who would be in line just because I'm OLD.
You know, I'm sure you're reading people talk about when COVID's over, I will. And is there a sort of a roaring 20s kind of feel about what, like a bit of a hedonistic spurt that may come in your instincts?
I wouldn't be surprised because when you keep the lid on the boiler and turn up the heat, you know, something's going to blow up. And people are going to want to party. Of course they are. And one of the problems we've been having is that they've been doing that prematurely. So have you been having any COVID dreams?
Yes. Are you?
Yes, I had my first one just recently in which I was at this big party, which I in fact had thrown. And in the middle of it, I realized it's a big party and none of us have got any masks on. What are we thinking? Yeah, but it was quite a fun party. It's just that it was a really bad thing to be doing.
You know, in part, we're talking because of you graciously, you know, said yes, but also because of the Writers' Trust Award being named after you and your beloved Graham. What does it mean to you, if I may, to have that?
Well, I think he would be very pleased. And I'm happy to lend my name because it's a great thing for somebody to win, especially in these days when it has been quite difficult, especially for people publishing their first books. In fact, it's been impossible. Ordinarily, they would have readings, they would go to different cities, they would have interviews. They can't do that anymore. It's all been remote. So for somebody to win that, I think it really gives you a step up. So I'm happy to do it, and Graham would have been very pleased.
I was thinking when you were talking about how much harder it is in COVID and the readings and the tours, and then I was having a conversation with a friend on the weekend about the long pen.
Oh yeah.
You know? And you inventing this remote technology to sign books. I mean, it's kind of amazing that you basically invented a perfect COVID era.
I know. Well, that was a long time ago. And when we started, you know, people say it was just for me. It wasn't just for me. It was for everybody. Because I knew that some cities never got writers and some people lived in places where they would never see authors. So the idea that you could take somebody not just within North America, but around the world and do a remote book signing, and we did that. And what that morphed into is now a company called Syngraphy, and it is a signature company. And yes, here we are in COVID, and those kinds of devices are suddenly pretty needed.
I'm curious where you were on January 6th.
During the attempted coup.
Correct.
I think I was chewing off my finger, you know, you see my fingernails. I think I was chewing off my fingernails like other people. And of course, having written dare I mention it, having written a dystopic novel in 1985, which began with a coup in Congress.
Who is that?
It's the Capitol. 20 or 30 guys with machine guns just started shooting from the gallery seats. It just happened.
In which martial law was then declared. I was just hanging by a thread because one dead congressperson, martial law coup. That was so close. I'm not sure that people realize exactly how close that came. The asteroid did not hit Earth, but it came pretty close.
And has the asteroid gone away?
Now, are we seeing the end of a great world power? Let us hope not, because what comes next would not be preferable.
Being American is more than a pride we inherit. It's the past we step into and how we repair it.
On those Capitol steps 2 weeks later, for you to see a Harvard poet up there,
Wasn't that wonderful?
I just wonder what it felt like for you.
A little tear. I thought, oh, so wonderful that young people can do this.
And so we lift our gazes not to what stands between us, but what stands before us.
She rose to the occasion. She became a sort of focus for what a lot of people were feeling. So yeah, I thought that was a very star moment.
I guess I wonder, two questions. What makes you happy right now?
What makes me happy? Talking to you. You seem very cheery. Yes.
And you think we're going to be okay?
Well, what is okay? Are we going to always remember this as having been a pretty trying and difficult period? Yes, we will. Has it been very rough on young people? Yes, it has. Has it been very rough on people with elderly relatives who are in places where they can't be visited? It has been. So all of those things have been hard. Will we ever have an outdoor barbecue together again? Yes, we will.
Well, there's a cheerful note to end on.
Yeah, I'm always quite hopeful.
Well, please look after yourself.
And you too.
I gotta say, she seems to be in pretty good spirits, all things considered. How is she spending her days?
Well, writing. I mean, nothing stops that train. But she also said that every now and then she has decided to go into the neighborhood with some long tongs and pick up garbage in the streets and just tidy up. Because
Margaret Atwood picking up garbage.
Absolutely, because it's outside, it's exercise. She can do it alone. It's like pandemically perfect.
Wow. That's an idea. Okay, when we come back, surprising stock surges driven by not so ordinary investors. What's behind the rise of GameStop? Plus.
Which salad dressing is your favorite?
Now, a Canadian musician got the world's attention and ours. We're back in a moment.
Welcome back. Until this week, GameStop was just another brick and mortar video game retailer. Today, it's a very costly thorn in the sides of Wall Street traders. GameStop shares have skyrocketed in the past few days, trading today for as high as $372 US. That's more than Apple, more than Facebook, and it's all thanks to a group of amateur investors who banded together and took Wall Street by surprise. Here's Kyle Bax.
At this video game store, it's just another ordinary day. But for parent company GameStop, it's a week like no other. It's the hottest stock on the market. GameStop shares languished for years, but now are on fire.
It'll keep going up as long as demand stays high.
What's driving the surge in interest? Social media. A group of amateur investors rallying together on Reddit and elsewhere online to push up the company's value.
This is pretty crazy. We're seeing something unprecedented, and it's up because it's a pyramid scheme.
Until recently, GameStop struggled to turn a profit as the industry shifts online. That's why many large investors shorted the stock, betting against it. But now retail investors, average folks on their home computers, are buying up the shares. For some, it's a way to stick it to Bay Street and Wall Street. For others, like this investor from BC, they want to prove the professionals wrong.
And with these people from this Reddit, we think we discover value.
It's not just GameStop, but a handful of other dark horse stocks too. Theater chain AMC is trying to avoid bankruptcy, but its stock is popping. Same for BlackBerry, a surging share price, yet the company admits it's not sure why. Nothing has really changed at the Waterloo firm. Some call it David versus Goliath, the pros versus the Joes. And the US Federal Reserve is being asked, what about GameStop?
It's just not really something that I would typically comment on.
Some Wall Street investors have lost billions. All those amateur investors are facing risks too, with concerns GameStop is wildly overvalued. But for now, they are riding high, knowing their uprising is causing upheaval throughout the investment world. Kyle Bax, CBC News, Calgary.
Next on The National, turning online feuds into some catchy tunes.
After that, it had hit 2 million. I was like, what have I done? This is crazy.
Why one Montreal musician has gone totally viral. That's next in our moment.
Please help, I'm out of butter. Please drop a stick at the corner of Main and Fifth.
Okay, this is Montreal musician Lubalin. His pandemic project turning internet squabbles into catchy musical numbers. So he went mega viral on TikTok, even found his way to late night, and so tonight, he's our moment.
I've been doing music for a long time. Just thought kind of like, how funny would it be to take something really stupid like an argument on the internet and then spend days trying to craft a beautiful song around it. We posted that first one, and in 2 hours it had done 270,000 views. After that, it had hit 2 million. I was like, what have I done? This is crazy. It used to be just brainstorming and like, haha, that would be fun. And now it's brainstorming with the context of like, millions of people will see it. So when I got the email from Tonight Show and they were like, yeah, we want to do an internet drama with Jimmy Fallon, someone else, who ended up being Alison Brie, I was through the roof.
Which salad dressing is your favorite? Can Steakhouse blue cheese dressing? Blue cheese has mold in it. Blue cheese.
I had no idea he was from Montreal. So you know, he says it takes him about a week to come up with a song, but I mean, you heard hints of it there, that he feels real pressure now to crank these out and to kind of ride that wave.
Well, no kidding, because, you know, he said, you know, what if I could get 100,000 views? He's at 33.2 million for the first one. He says, this is great, but if you could listen to my non-funny music too, that would be fantastic. That is the National for Wednesday, January 27th. Good night.
Good night.